Hello everybody, and welcome to this week's webinar. I'm here with Brenndan Cooper. We're at Tiffany Green's Golf Club in Kansas City, Missouri. As always, we're brought to you by Medicus Golf and Kick-X Golf. And this week, based on some requests we got 3 or 4 requests to talk about bunkers. Now, they didn't specify which bunkers, whether it was green side or fairway. So we'll kind of go through both of them today. If you have any questions, put them over there in the sidebar. And when we get done here, we'll start answering your questions. So let's talk about, because most people won't learn more probably about the green side.
Yep.
So let's start with the green side bunkers and what we need to do to be proficient out of the bunker. Some setup cues for you, as well as showing you what the face and the bounce of the club should be using. So go ahead, Dave.
Well, the biggest thing that players need to understand is how the wedge is designed. You know, we've got obviously leading edge on this side, trailing edge here. So a lot of times what Chuck and I see is we see players that will set into it and they'll just set the face just dead square. So we want to actually activate the bounce part, the trailing edge. So we want to open the face when we set up because we're wanting that club to bounce and glide through the bunker a little bit. So if I set in here and set square to these white rods that are here and I open the face, well, my club face is now going off to the right. So I'm going to have to adjust my body. That's the reason why I've got this yellow rod here, so you can see kind of where my stance line is going. So now I've got the face, it's open, going down the white rods here. Okay, so now that the face is open and my body's open, I want to swing my club, my hands, arms with my body, not down the target line.
And we see that a lot of times. People will get the right setup, and instead of swinging along their body line, they'll start jerking the club back in here. So now it comes back and you're actually hitting it with the leading edge, the face pointed to the right, and it's a well-blended shot that goes through the bunker and over the green.
Yeah, it's that lovely shot that gets about shin high and screens pretty quickly. So you either blade it like that or you'll bottom it. It'll have a tendency to bottom out too quickly too.
Right. And you know, there are variations. This is the one that we would suggest that you practice with the most. You can also do it from a relatively square stance, and so the difference would be here that you're just going to feel like you're laying the club back. So when we say lay back, that means we're going to feel like the handle's back more this way.
This way.
Yeah. So as you do that and you swing it up, as you come down, you've got to get everything moving left pretty quickly. You got to move the left over this way pretty quickly. Now you can still hit bunker shots doing that, right? So you have to experiment and find out which one works best for you, the square up or the open. But if you're going to open, make sure you swing along that bottom, along your body.
Yeah. So there's been great players that have done it both ways. So again, like Chuck said, it's a variation. You know, we're not naive enough to say it's got to be this way. Right? There's options, and sometimes it works better for others.
Right, and you've got to make a long enough swing. I mean, the first rule when you're practicing your bunker shots is you need to thump the sand behind the ball because you're not trying to hit the ball, you're trying to hit the sand.
Yeah. And
let the sand push the ball.
Yeah.
So if you're making a bunker swing like this, and the sand's going about 2 feet, that's where your ball's going to go.
Yeah. Yeah.
So you need to swing with enough length and enough power to throw that sand up on the green.
Yeah. You want to tell yourself, try to splash the sand on the green.
Right.
And if we make a move like that, well, that's not going to splash it anywhere.
Right. Well, and you can also take and just draw you a couple of lines in the sand. I'm going to move this over real quick. So let's say that you drew a couple of lines in the sand. Okay. All you have to do is make practice swings and feel like you're taking that strip out of here. Okay. You're not really hitting either one of these lines. You're trying to take the strip of sand out of the bunker. You could also build a wall. And let's say the wall came up to about here at the bottom of the club head. From here, you're also trying to splash this into that wall. Remember, you don't want to get this because now you've got the leading edge involved. You want to splash that sand out from the bottom of the sand all the way up to the top of the sand. And we actually have some videos up on the Medicus video site that show some of these drills to do that. So the next thing we want to talk about, and the big difference here, let's talk about setup just a little bit, like you had it before. When you get set,
You know, square or?
yeah, well, face them square first.
Okay.
So when he gets, face the camera. So when he gets set, one of the things you want to do is you want to lower your center of gravity. So that means you've got to have a much wider stance, right? And you've got to sit down in here with your knees. Because here you're just trying to use your arms, clubs, and shoulders. So when he takes it back, it's much more of an upper body motion than it is a lower body motion. You're trying to keep all of this firm in here, right? If your stance gets too narrow and you don't get low enough, again, a good way is you're going to get your lower body involved and then you're going to blade the ball. So get way wide, get way deep. I feel like you're taking the club back, your knees are staying bent, club's coming down, entering the sand. And now the club is exiting. So you still got a lot of knee bend.
Yeah, so
You're not pushing off with this shot.
So his knees are staying relatively level. You know, there's not a lot of difference in
Right,
that motion.
right. We're not going into extension with them, losing all the
Yeah.
flex in them. All right, so now let's talk about the difference between that and a fairway bunker. Now, in the fairway bunker, you want to hit the ball first.
Ideally.
So again, you want to dig your feet in, right? And there's no certain thing. I mean, some sand is softer than others. So if you dig your feet in and it goes in 2 inches, the ideal would be your club's 2 inches longer, so you get 2 inches behind the ball.
Yeah.
If you get a really soft sand, you dig in, it goes down 4 inches, you're effectively 4 inches shorter, so the club would probably hit 4 inches behind the golf ball. So an advanced technique is if you want to spin these sand wedge shots, especially on the green side, the closer you get to the ball, the more spin is going to be put on.
Yeah.
The farther away you get from the ball, the more the ball is going to come up, but it'll probably roll a little bit. Okay. So the green side bunker shots, you want to place the ball a little farther back than normal. I would recommend strengthening your target side hand a little bit because the ball's back farther. And as you make your swing, you're going to have some elements of your full swing, but you're not going to have the big old high finish. You know, you're still going to have some elements, but not the normal finish and not the normal lower body.
Yeah.
So take it back, play the ball a little bit farther back so you catch the ball first. Take your normal address position after you've dug in. You don't have to get down low for this one. Strengthen the grip just a little bit, which will help keep it from flying off to the right-hand side.
Yep. Yep.
And take a little more club.
Take a little more. Yeah.
Anything else you want to add to that?
No, those are great points, you know, especially, you know, like Chuck was saying, you know, if you dig in X number of inches, well, make sure you're aware of that, you know, either swing wise or where the hands are on the handle there. So, you know, that's going to affect you a lot. We see that a lot. People will dig in 4 inches and then won't.
Right. And the biggest thing we see is people don't make long enough swings and they don't have enough speed.
Yeah.
You know, they make a short swing with low speed.
Yeah.
In fact, we have a prime example.
Just walk by. Yeah, just walk by.
All right, so let's answer a couple of these questions here. Okay, and the first one, we just covered that, Merwin, sand play in the bunkers. From Dave, I tend to chunk the ball on my iron shots. I want to know why I'm not getting through on my irons. I think I set up, but when I swing, I tend to chunk it. Either hit the ball in the middle, because that would be hitting it thin, or hit down on the ball, but the club's buried in the ground. How do you get a good follow through? All right, and am I not setting up? So those are two different questions, but they are the same symptom. So if you're hitting it thin and fat, it's one and the same problem. The issue is the club head is getting down below your hands too quickly. If it gets down too quick, you hit it fat. If it gets down too quick but later, you can blade the ball. So the issues are compound. First of all, you got to have enough pressure into your target side. Second, you've got to have the hands more forward and not releasing the club back here. And third, as you do this, you've got to imagine that club striking the ball and then striking the ground in front of it. So a good drill for that is to just take a rod like we have right here, emulate that as the golf ball. Don't hit this rod. Swing up, swing down, strike the ground. Try to make the club strike the ground on the target side of the golf ball. So again, hitting it thin as the radius is shortening. Hitting it fat as the radius is getting longer. So they're both the same issue. Most of the time when people are hitting it fat, they hang back and throw it rubber. People that hit it thin, that tendency, not always right, but it's a tendency, is they move way out in front of it and they're trying to catch up with it. So anything else you want to add to that?
No, you just, definitely, use a rod or find something where you're teaching yourself to get that club to bottom out in front of where it started. Right. And then you'll start to feel some things different than what you were before.
Right, you can even take the rod and place it behind your golf ball. Let me put this one over here like this. And I'm just going to hit a little chip shot. I'm not going to make a full swing shot because we're hitting the wrong end of the net.
Be careful, this is live TV.
All right, so when you get here and you take it up, do this in slow motion. I'm hitting down. I'm not hitting the rod. I'm hitting down and hitting the ball. I'm making the club strike the ball first and missing that rod. That's all you're trying to do. You can do it with 2x4 as well.
Yeah.
It won't hurt you or your club, but it will certainly bruise your ego if you hit the 2x4.
Yeah, it'll smash your ego quickly. Yeah.
All right, let's see what other questions we have here. This one, well, thank you, Caleb. We enjoy it. Where should I put the ball in my stance for a short bunker shot? You want to handle this one, Coop?
Yeah. All right, for a short greenside bunker shot, again, we're trying to get that ball to come out high and soft. Like we were talking earlier, we got to make sure we've got the speeds there, setups there, and then we've got the face doing what it should be doing. But just a rule of thumb would be is if I set up and just let the club be in the middle part of my body right here, well, that ball's going to be slightly in front of the middle. So if you get set there, well, just move it about another inch forward, and again, try to feel like the face is open, and then just blast it right out of it.
Right now, go ahead and set up to that. Now, however, if you do this in the backswing, go ahead and make the backswing. If you move to the right on the backswing, that is not going to help you at all.
You better move left.
Yeah, so go ahead and get set again. So as you get set, he's going to feel a little bit more pressure on the left side or target side of this. It just stays there. But it just stays there. Do not try to move your pressure away to the rear foot when you're making this swing.
Yeah, definitely keep the lower half stable, kind of like what you were talking about earlier.
Right. All right, let's see what other questions we have here. Okay, I think that is it. Well, as usual, we enjoyed it. If you have anything you want us to talk about, make sure you send us an email with that, some suggestions. We don't know what we're going to talk about next week. Brenndan's going on vacation, so he'll be here, and fortunately, because next Friday is the official Red Friday of Chiefs. And so today we're going to leave you with Mr. Sandman.
Okay, I wouldn't say it.
Nick me.
All right, kill
Okay.
it. Diana, kill it.
We'll see. All right.